we are able to do. Okay. This is effective resource management for school leaders. And I'm so privileged to be doing this today. This is one of 4 parts of my strategic planning for school leaders. I am so sure that the month of November should be the month that everybody begins to plan for next year. I know that the calendar year of a school is from September to July. However, a year is actually from January to December. And whatever it is that we have done so far, even though we have 2 more months to go, the 2 months is always a time where, as a school leader, we need to begin to plan, prepare, and work towards next year. And one of the areas, there are 4 areas critically, and I'm going to try as much as possible to touch the 4 areas before December. So there are 4 areas that really, when it comes to strategy, there are 4 areas that matters. And please let me say this: every time we talk about strategy, strategy is not really a plan. Yes, we call it strategic planning, possibly because so that we can have something to put in place when it comes to the preparatory side. But strategy is not really a plan. Actually, what does strategy means, especially in the school context? Strategy is your effort to make a change. Oh, yes. The essence of strategy is to make a difference, is to make a change in something that you are trying to be strategic about. Strategy is about change. No matter how good you are as a strategist, no matter how good your strategy idea is, if it cannot make a change, and a significant change, because when the number of students goes from 200 to 110 or 100, it is also a change. The only challenge about it is that it is not a significant change. When the school stop making money, or when the school is not being profitable, and then we begin to put strategy in place to make sure the profit comes alive, that is what we call strategy. So it is very important to note that strategy is about making a change, either making a change in people, or making a change in processes, making a change in practices, making a change in the operation, so that we can have advantage, or so that we can remain relevant. That is what strategy is about. Every time you adopt a system, every time you adopt a practice, every time you bring in people into your school in order to cause a change. You see, currently I'm doing a series, 6-part audio materials on school turnaround. A lot of things, a lot of issues that I have to handle. And it has gotten me to be able to come to terms to say that, yes, there is massive need for turnaround in our schools. And, I'm running that video series, or audio series, sorry, because I just discovered that books, a lot of people don't have time to read. And permit me to say this: what you are really crying for, you are carrying it in your shelves, in your book library. But while I want to agree to the fact that we have a lot on our plate, so really, if you ask me, there's no time to read. And I'm saying it as someone that has published 12 books. I'm saying it as someone that really, I'm selling books. But I noticed that a lot of school owners just buy books for buying sake. Some school owners contact me and they say, this is my issue. And I'm telling them, but you have the material in your hand. The answer is in one of the books that you have gotten from me. But I understand, to be able to do everything together, to be able to pay attention to staff, to pay attention to school, to pay attention to all different things, there is family there, there is commitment in other associations and other platforms. And because of this, I think that's the reason why I decided that, no, I'm coming up with school turnaround management. And I'm not going to make it a literature. I'm going to make it an audio-visual thing. Audio self. When you're in your car, you will listen to it. When you are cooking, you will listen to it. When you are in the office, you will listen to it. You can even play it for all your leaders. Let everybody sit down and be listening. Oh, yes. And the essence and the reason why I'm doing this is because, you know, when we are talking about making a change, that is what we call strategy. Oh, my school is a very strategic school. What are the changes that has happened in your school in the last 4 months, 5 months, 6 months? That is how I know strategy. Oh, that person is a very strategic leader or is a strategic individual. The unit measurement of strategy is change. If we are not seeing any changes, despite the fact that you are deploying strategy, you are just wasting your time. I want you to understand that, and I want you to get it well. It's just, you know, you are just wasting your time. I tell you the truth. So it is very important and critical to be able to understand effective resource management. And that's why, you know, I'm pulling this out today. So let's go. So when we talk about school resources, somebody is going to ask, or before I say school resources, I need you to understand that there are 2 dimensions that your school is standing on. Your school is standing on 2 legs, and that is key. Leg 1 is the fact that your school is standing on the leg of resources, and your school is standing on the leg of resourcefulness. I'm still going to be talking about resourcefulness and attracting resourceful people as part of strategy. Because let me tell you the truth. If you are going to make a change in your school, if you are going to take your school to another level, there is going to be upgrading of your current staff, and there is going to be need to bring in resourceful people. So let me say this. Your school is standing on the leg of resources and is standing on the leg of resourcefulness. Oh, I see someone says that some may even buy the same book twice. I don't think I have a record of anyone that has gotten my book twice. I don't think so. I publish book and I do it intentionally. Some of the book may look the same, but my books are always different. I've written 28 books on school management. I've only published 12. If I want to be publishing book every quarter, I think I will do that very well, conveniently. Oh, yes. It's just that. And besides, I think I have a small fear of God in me. And besides, also, Nigeria is not smiling in printing business, that I will have to be changing books or that I will have to be printing the same book in different ways. But that being said, so you are standing on 2 legs, very important, on resources and resourcefulness. So when we talk about school resources, we are talking about the educational resources, we are talking about the financial resources, we are talking, basically, let us say that resources in a school is in 3 folds, is in 3 areas, basically: men, materials, and money. Every time we talk about resources in a school, we are talking about men. What do I mean by men? The staff, the humans of your school, they are part of your school resources. Now, I'm not talking about resourcefulness now. I'm talking about human resources. And when we talk about human resourcefulness, we are talking about the skill of the people. We are talking about the knowledge of the people. We are talking about the abilities of the people. But that's not what I'm talking about here. When I talk about school resources, I'm talking about the system of human resource system, how you manage the head count in the school. Because you will need somebody in your school first before you can be talking about knowledge, skill, and abilities. You know, you will need that. And when we talk about this, it is very important and very critical to understand that your human resources talks about the system at which we bring people, the system at which we select people. Because when we talk about resource management, human resource management is a very critical part, very critical part. And when we talk about that, we are talking about the human capital system. Human capital system. What is the system that we have put in place to manage humans in our school? There are so many things apart from training, apart from knowledge, apart from abilities that are in our school that we have to manage. Or I'm telling you, so when we talk about effective human resources, we are really talking about the kind of people that we bring in. How do we bring them in? And when they come in, how do we retain our talents? How do we retain the people that comes into the school? That is part of resource management. Retention is not only to the learners in the school or to the parents in the school right now. Now we begin to look at retention from the angle of also the staff of the school. The staff. As a matter of fact, I say turnover of staff will lead to turnover of parents and turnover of students. So when we talk about men, that's what we're talking about. Then materials, educational materials, instructional materials that the students use in the school. How do we manage it? The materials is so broad. I am telling you the truth. Material is so broad. The material dimension of resources is so critical. In fact, as many times when school owners talk to me and said, Coach Wale, how can I make more money? How can I make more money? I said, which area do you want to specialize in, even as a school, that you want to really move on? I said the first place, and I think the best place is to specialize in materials. You know, the books, the instructional materials, the charts, the uniforms, the name it. There are so many materials that we make use of. And if we don't know how these things are being disbursed, if we don't know how we acquire these things, you notice that, for example, this is October, tomorrow is 1st of November. By 15th of November, some of the income that came from materials, some schools may not be able to account for it as I'm talking. Why? Because the financial state of that school is not in order. And I can say it any day, anytime. The reason why you can't account, apart from the school fees, the reason why it looks as if we cannot account for the materials, the income that comes from materials in the school is because the account of the school is not in order. So we have material as a source of resources, and then money. Very, very important. Money is a critical part of school resources. Every time we are talking about school resources, please note this. We are talking about men, we are talking about materials, and we are talking about money. I just like the MMM, not not the MMM we know. If you know, you know. So let's take one. Let me try and take it one after the other. Men, we talk about staff, we talk about parents, and we talk about learners. When we talk about men as resources in the school and the need for us to manage them, we are talking about the staff, the parent, and the learners. When we talk about the materials, we are talking about the facility. Oh, yes. We are talking about the facility of the school. We are talking about the equipment of the school, and we are talking about the work objects. What do we mean by work objects? All the objects and everything we use to enhance the work. So we talk about facility. We can look at the building, the space, the school bus, everything that constitutes what helps people and where people stay to make the work go seamless is what we call, the facility. And when we are looking at resource management, we have to pay attention to that. Second one is the equipment. The equipment that we use in the school matters a lot. Some people got interactive board, some people bought television, some people have a lot of equipment in the school, in the laboratory, in the STEM laboratory, in the science laboratory, in the agricultural lab. There are so many equipment, so many. Even in the administrative block or in the administrative office, in the proprietor's office, there are so many equipment that we make use of. There are so many equipment that we use in our classrooms. Oh, yes. So it's very critical and understand that when we talk to the face of material, it's how we manage materials and work objects. So everything that comes into how the teacher, maybe the marking, the books, the stationaries, all those things are part of materials when we talk about school resources. Number 3 is money. And money is about three things. Money is about three things. It's about the fees. Now, not necessarily the tuition alone. Every fees that we put, everything that we render as a service in the school that brings money into the school, that is part of the fees. Part of the fees. The expenses is everything we spend money on. However, investment is different. Investment is what we put money on that gives us money, that keeps giving us money. And I've been saying this. A lot of schools have mastered their fees. In fact, they have increased fees. Like I have a proprietor that told me that since June last year, every term the proprietor has been increasing the school fees. And somehow, she has been able to manage exits so much that is so minimal. How can you increase school fees every term? And the people that are in the school, as I'm talking now, she's planning on increasing in January because things are getting expensive. Since that June last year, things have been very, very expensive. So there are schools that have mastered their fees, the price they call it. And let me quickly say this: to master your fee is not really rocket science. It's about the value that you are delivering. You must make sure that your value outlet must be visible as a school. Coach Wale, what do you mean by value outlets? Everything that showcases that you are doing your work. The result of the children, the competition that they go to, the internal competition, the assessment of the children, the debates, everything. You see, if all you are doing as a school is just to allow the children to come into the school, the teacher teaches them and they go. How do you assess? How do you know that the teacher is even doing well? That is the reason why some schools or some parents are trying to say that I'm not seeing anything. This thing you are doing, I'm not seeing anything. But with your assessment, with different things like that, ensuring that you are not only teaching what is in the textbook, you are also giving them a practical dimension that they can showcase outside. Don't forget, strategy is about change. So, and once that is visible, all your value channels, when they are visible, you will master your fees. I'm telling you. I'm not talking about school fees today. However, I noticed that we have mastered fees. We have also mastered expenses. Expenses. You don't need to, in fact, you don't need to go to school to know how to spend money. Everybody, if anyone write a book on 15 ways to spend money, we all know 22 ways. The hard part is how to make money and what to invest in. The part that schools are not getting yet is that aspect of investment, putting your money in things that is going to, on behalf of the school. It may even be a personal, dealings, but putting your money in something that can be giving you in turn, that can be bringing money. I'm telling you, it's so important and it's so critical. And Coach Wale, you see, the reason why I don't function in this investment place of money is that the money we have is not enough. Let me quickly break your bubble today. Let me bust it. Let me break the table. You will never have enough money if you are running a school. You will never have enough money that will remain at the end of a term or by the end of midterm or something. I'm being sincere with you. The first thing you remove is that money for that investment purpose. But where the problem lies is not even removing the money. Where the problem lies is which investment am I going to go into that will give me, that will keep churning money for me. That's where a lot lies in. And so when we talk about money, when we talk about school resources, we are talking about fees, expenses, and investment. Just begin to ask yourself, how good am I when it comes to the fees and the investment? I don't really talk about expenses. The only thing I talk about it is you have to cut your expenses. To cut your expenses does not mean there are things you will not buy. I remember I was in a school and they told me that they only buy water. They used to buy water 3 times because the building and the environment does not have water. So they buy water every 3 times in a week. I said, and because of that, they've stopped buying water. They only buy water on Monday. So everybody have to manage the water for the rest of the week. I said, what? I said, no wonder parents are complaining. No wonder parents are saying their children are having infection. No, you can't. If you want to cut expenses, it's not that you stop some things. Where you start cutting expenses is by checking how you are spending the money, tracking how the money is going. What is the essence of disbursing money and you can't track your money? Every kobo right now makes a lot of sense. I have some schools, they are auditing their account on a timely basis. They are spending money to the auditor, but that's not a problem. We are auditing. We are this place. This is what this money for. Why? How? Where is the thing? Where is the receipts? Where it's amazing how people disburse money at school and you cannot really track how it goes. No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. You see, that is what cutting expenses means. Don't feel what we are spending money on is much. There's nothing we can do about it. We just keep spending. If you keep spending, then you will not have money for investment. Oh, fees will keep coming. Fees will keep coming, but there is a law. Remember, there's a law called Parkinson law. Parkinson law says that expenses always rise to meet income. That's the law. Expenses always rise to meet income. So your problem will not be solved when you increase school fees. No, that is not it. Why? Because if you increase school fees today, in the next 2 months, your expenses will just move up to that space. If you increase your population today, your expenses will just rise to meet. All of a sudden, you just discover that, we can't put one teacher in that class. We need to split the class. So we need an extra teacher. All of a sudden, you just discover that we need cleaners, that we had more. And why? It's just as simple as that. It's just very simple. Now, why am I saying this? The reason why I'm saying this is because you have to begin to think about, this money as a resources. And as you are thinking of this as a resource, you have to think in place of your fees, and don't think fees alone. Think investment. Apart from investment, you have to think about the expenses. Track your expenses. I don't like saying cut your expenses. I like saying track your expenses. Because at a particular point, you can discover that everything you are spending money on, there's nothing you can cut. There is nothing. There's nothing. A school owner decided and said, from now, I want to be collecting rent on this school. I'm the one, the building and everything is on my name. And that is, if I'm not taking salary from you, people, I have to be taking rent. If I'm not taking salary, the rent of the school belongs to me. And which is right. So the school pays rent. Oh, but the school is on its permanent side. No, please. And I often say that in order not to be born, don't burn yourself out as a school leader. I'm talking to school owners now, proprietors. Don't burn yourself out. How? Pay yourself. One of the ways to burn out of a school is when you don't pay yourself. But culturally, it's not enough. It's an attitude. That is not the reality. When you are paying staff salary, pay yourself money. You see, that will help you. It will motivate you to do more. It will help you to put more effort. It will help you to do a lot that you need to do. Pay yourself. Oh, it's not enough. Pay yourself first. Oh, yes. Some people feel, I don't think I want to do this thing again. Go and check. The reason is because they've expended themselves. Instead of them taking money, paying themselves from the school, they are putting money into the school. They are putting money. They borrow, they put their personal money, they do a lot of things, and the school is not responding. It's not giving it back. I spend more time in money. When we talk about school resources, please, I want us to have a very complete understanding of something. In fact, I really love the trajectory of what I'm speaking about today. It has first, you need that factor of energy. You have to understand, if you want to manage your school resources, just like I've listed them, men, money, materials, you have to pay attention to your energy. You don't manage school resources from resources. You manage resources from yourself as a school leader. If you are not in the right, frame of mind, I can tell you the truth. You are going to be overwhelmed by the many things. The way I just talked about those 3 things, you are going to think that is just the way it is, but that is not. I'm sorry to burst you. That is just not enough. You are the most important management. You are the most important resources that you can have as a school. If your energy is low, every other thing will go down. Oh, yes. If the energy is so low, oh my God, everything will go down. And a lot of schools are in that situation right now. And what do I mean by that? Look at your energy. Your energy is going to be displayed in 4 areas, basically. Number 1 is physical health. When we talk about school resources, this is one aspect that a lot of people don't talk about. In fact, that is where I start from. Every time I'm invited by school to come and talk about school strategy, remember I told you there are 4 areas of my own. This is my own. No, this is not what I read in a book. Everything I'm talking to you about right now, I created it. But when you want to start it, you must start from your own state of mind and your energy. A lot of people's energy is dwindling. A lot of school leaders' energy is declining by the day. See, let me tell you, the pressure will not go away. The pressure is constant. The challenges, they are there. They will always remain. It's not doom. It's not, Kuchwale, what are you saying? This one. No. We must have the ability to confront reality. And you have to. And if you think the state and the cost of living in our society, in our country is going to come down, I'm sorry, it is better to have the attitude that this is how it will keep going than to think it's going to be easier. A proprietor said, I promised my staff in September that things will soon get better. He said, but now that fuel is 1,060 naira, is it going to get better? I said, you are still going to be shocked. We are getting to December. When we are crossing December to January, one thing is always very constant. The price of fuel is always an issue. People will travel a lot. There are some people that want to make money from that, travel and a lot of things like that. Don't expect the price to remain. So to think things will be easier, I don't think is a wishful thinking. It can be easier, but if it gets easy, fantastic. We thank God for it. But if it is not getting easier now, we need to be tougher. We need to come up. We need to take ourselves and we need to tell ourselves that truth. Your physical health that is derived from high quality sleep, exercise, and nutrition. School owners, please pay attention to your physical health. Please have a routine exercises. If it's on Saturday, if it's on Sunday, if it's on, choose a weekday, have quality sleep. School business has problems. You need money. You have taken loan. You have a lot of things. But the truth about it is that the worst that can happen is that police will be running after you. And once you agree that I'm owing you, oh yes, I'm owing you. Yes, I agree. I agree that I owe you. That's not a problem. That is not anything. Let's negotiate. Let's talk. I see that anything that wants to take away your sleep, anything that wants to take away your physical health, please, nutrition, pay attention. Pay attention to what you eat. Don't tell me I don't have appetite. But here you are, moving from one class to another. School owner, moving from one class to another, sweating, and you have not eaten. 3 p.m., 3:30. And at the time you get to the office to eat, you said, I don't really have appetite. Eat good food. Yes, use supplement. Everybody that runs a school, either you are in 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s, you need supplement. What of mental energy is derived from being able to focus on both the big picture and small steps. Big picture, small steps that is needed for you to achieve your goal. That is what we call mental energy. See, don't look at big step and you have small picture. I see that a lot. I'm telling you, I see that a lot. A lot of people have big steps that they want to take. But when you tell them to where, this big thing that you want to do, the school was showing me their plan for Christmas Carol. Shared it with me. I said, Coach Wale, look at the budget. Where am I going to get this kind of money? The parents are not paying. Then I said, why are you spending this kind of money? Oh, yes. He said, schools around me, they are, those schools, the thing they want to do. I said, why? The picture have to be big, and the steps, take it one step at a time. Yes, you have to understand how to impress your parents. That is why some schools are disappointed. Some school owners are disappointed after the event. They are doing everything to impress the parent, and the parent did not appreciate it, and then they felt disappointed. No. Your mental energy must be about you becoming focused on your big picture. Don't lose that focus. Challenges will come. A lot of distraction will come. You will visit a school and you want to be like that school. And you come back to your own looks small. Your population and a lot of things. No, don't do that. Please, don't do that. Focus on your big picture. Take the steps per time. Now, I said take small steps. I did not say that you should not take steps. There are some schools that have stopped taking steps. What they did 3, 4, 5 years ago is what they are still doing currently. You cannot be doing the same thing and expect different results. It is a mental energy. It's a mental concept. You have to involve, strategy. You see, that's one of the things that I do. If you invite me to come and have strategic session, a one-on-one consultation, strategic session with your leaders, strategic session with your team, you see, it's very, very important. It's for change. The third thing is emotional energy. You have to pay attention to your emotional energy. Actually, what do you mean? It's derived from being able to think clearly under stress. Let me tell you, you can't remove stress from this our work. You can't. Oh my God. And you have to understand, you will always face challenges. You are going to face challenge from staff. There's going to be challenge from parents. There's going to be challenge from government. There's going to be challenge from authorities, regulatory bodies. A lot of people, they will give you something and then they will ask you to pay 7 million. They will ask you to pay 3 million. Take it. And you sit down with them. What is the matter? What do we want me to do? I don't have more than 200,000. Your emotional energy must be intact. You must be able to think clearly under stress. Stress is a weight. And you know what? To an extent, currently now, there's nobody in Nigeria, except you are not making money, that is not under stress. That except you are not making money. If you are making money in Nigeria, if you are in business, if you are doing something, there is massive stress. However, your ability, the emotional energy that you have, is your ability to be able to think clearly. You must be able to think clearly under stress. Very important and very critical. Okay. The fourth one is motivational energy. Oh, yes. You have to be able to motivate yourself at a particular point. Please permit me to say that. You have to. You have to. This is so important. This is so critical. This is very, very important to be able to motivate yourself. You see, as I'm saying it, I want you to understand that. And what do I mean? I mean, you derive, you find personal meaning and purpose every day. Because you had purpose in January doesn't mean you have purpose right now. I'm telling you the truth. Your motivational energy says that. And you are not looking for somebody to come and motivate you. Somebody told me one time, I said, Coach Wale, I just, the price you are calling for training is too much. I just want you to just come and help me motivate the staff. I said, what? I said, I'm sorry, I'm not a motivational speaker. I said, by the way, if your staff are not motivated already by the state of things in Nigeria, no human being can come and motivate them. Do you know how much we spend on transportation? Do you know how much you spend on food? Do you know how much you pay school fees? And then you are still looking for somebody to motivate you? No. So, it is very important and critical, for us to be motivated by finding personal meaning. That thing that made you start the school in the first place. The purpose, the meaning. What does it mean? I'm running school. I'm running this. There are days, even me as a consultant, there are days when I question me being in education. I should have been in oil and gas. I know 3 or 4 people in oil and gas. My best friend is working in Saudi Aramco. I should have just been there and then I'm collecting my dollars and I'm doing fine. Why am I in education? So I find meaning and purpose. Meaning and purpose. I find it every day on a day-to-day. It's not, that's why the first school resources that you need to manage is your energy. Energy is a resource. Oh, yes. When I'm in strategic retreats, when I'm in strategic session with school owners, with school leaders, just like we are doing right now, I focus. This slide is one of my most important slides. Because if you sit down there and I'm talking to you and I'm showing you different strategies and everything that you can do, but this part is not there, I can tell you the truth. You won't use it. That's the reason why people go for training and they don't see changes when they go back to school, because the energy level is not even addressed. But let me go on. Our time will soon be off. So when we talk about resource management, a very important part of that resource management has a lot to do with culture. Oh my God. You cannot manage men, material, and money without paying attention to your culture. Your culture is very important. What is the culture in your school? See, based on what you want to achieve, your culture must be I support and I challenge. I support, I challenge. I support, I challenge. If I get into your school, I want to see two things in your school that shows me that everything you want to do will come to results. You will show results. It is the support and it is a challenge that you put. How do you challenge the people and how do you support them? The culture, social study defines culture as a way of life. I like defining culture as the belief and behavior of the people, because culture is not about a place. Culture is about people. It is people that defines a place. Oh, yes. You go to some states, you go to some cities, and then they name some zones, some areas. For example, when you go to, normally in the Yoruba land, we shouldn't have a place called Sabo. Sabo is a place that is inhabited by the Hausas in a Yoruba land or in some other places. So when you look at that place, you said that place belongs to this tribe. You see? And what it means is that it is people that determine places. Oh, yes, it is people. So when we talk about resource management, because a lot of times we get resources in our schools, but we are wondering why the resources are not performing the function you want them to have. I have several schools that tells me, Coach Wale, we bought TV. I gave them flash drive. We changed the TV from just normal flat screen, plasma TV. We changed it to smart TV, where there's wireless in the school. It's a smart TV. There's YouTube access, free. He said they are still not using it. We got interactive board. My teachers are not using it. They can't even create PowerPoint presentation. Coach Wale, what do you think I should do? I said the problem is the culture. The problem is the culture. We always respond to culture. Culture is so powerful that it can eat your vision for lunch, no matter how good your vision is. You see, if you look at Nigeria, you notice we have many visions. There was a time when we're carrying MDGs, Millennium Development Goals. Millennium Development Goals. What does that mean? In other words, it's going to happen by year 2000, new millennium. By that time, and number one on that goal is to eradicate poverty. You can imagine, we want to eradicate poverty by year 2000 or 2010. But where are we now? The poverty is not even the same. Now you can see, what do you think happened? The goal is there, the vision, there is Vision 2020. There is poverty alleviation. They stopped poverty eradication. They moved to poverty alleviation. There are so many goals, so many visions, but culture. If your culture is bad, your vision cannot be achieved. If your culture is bad, your plan cannot be achieved. Oh, that's the way it works. In June, an organization had me to come and speak. It's their mid-year assessments and training. So I was there. I went to speak to them. And I asked one of the students, I asked one of the participants, I said, what did you set for this year? What was your goal for this year? And he told me, he said, in January, I said, I want to make 100 million naira this year. I said, wow, that's a very fantastic one. I said, this man is a rich man. How much have you made out of the 100 million? Have you made 70 or 50 million? This is half of the year. He said, Coach Wale, I can tell you the truth. I've not even made 1 million naira. I said, what do you think happened? You had a very lofty goal. You have a very laudable thing that you have, but your culture denied you of that goal. Anybody can write anything. You see, in motivation world, they said you attract success. They say you are going to put it by the wall of your place. He said, continue to look at it. Continue to look at it. It happens by law of attraction. I agree. While I agree to that, but there's a balance to it. If your culture is against the vision or the requirement of that goal, no matter how well you stay at it, if you like, be reading it every day, you will not achieve the results. And many times that is the real problem that a lot of schools have. A lot of schools don't lack resources. The real problem is that we lack an empowering culture, a culture that will really help us to be able to get along and to be able to get things up. That is a major, major, major critical thing that we lack. So when we talk about, effective resources management, we are talking about a culture of empowerment, the green zone that I call Liberate. It is the culture of empowerment. Look at your school culture. Can you confidently tell me every school that I know today is in one of these four? The only challenge about it is that there are only few in the green zone. There are few in this green zone. The green zone is the zone where the challenge is high and the support is high. Challenge them. I got to a school one day and I saw the teachers, 2:30. They carry their bag, they are going home. I said, in this age and time, oh no, you can take me up about that and tell me, oh, you are going home by 2:30. And you have student pupils in your class that can't read, that can't write. The handwriting is poor. Some are preparing for external exams, like the year 6, the GSS3, and you carried your bag 2:30 and you are going home. To where? I said, because of our curriculum, we are bound like this in ANCOP as a school between 8:30 and 2 p.m. to always focus on what we have in the curriculum. However, the fact that you focus on the curriculum does not negate the fact that you have students in your class that cannot read. I said, what time do you create for them? It's a culture of massive challenge. You have to. Once it's that 2:30 to 4, let those students engage them. And then you give support to what the staff are doing. If you don't have that culture, you may not be able to do so well. You see, I'm going to stop here, but please permit me to be able to say this. These are things that really I'm going to be sharing in my 6 series audio. I'm telling you, it's audio, it's not training. This one is not training, it's audio materials. Oh my God, it's going to be massive. It's massive, I'm telling you. It's something that you should play for all your leaders. Ask all of them to sit down in your office as a school owner or proprietor. Put it in a speaker. The speaker you use for your, put it there, connect it and blast it. Let them be listening. Let them be hearing it live and direct. It's well edited. It's clear. I tell you. It has a studio standard. I don't put any soundtrack there. It's just my voice. And this, I will want you to be able to key into this to see. My aim for creating this school turnaround is the fact that I want something that every school must know. If we are not getting this result, this is what we are doing bad. If we are not getting this kind of result, this is what we are not doing yet. And if we are not doing it yet, it's because we are not achieving, or it's because we don't have this. Very important. So lastly from me today, effective human management is about one thing that I call the skill wheel matrix. Because if you want to work on your culture, what are you going to work on? You are going to work on the human management. Oh, yes. You are going to be working on the human, no matter the resources you have. Who are the people that will manage it? Humans. Is the people in the school. Who works with the learners? Is the people. Who works with the learners? Is the people. Who works with? Is the people. The people. So, and when we talk about effective human management, we are talking about the skill will matrix. Skill will matrix. Oh my God, what does it mean, Coach Wale? It means that you have to, every staff in your school are in four of these, they are in one of these four. There are people that have low skill and low will. Don't waste your time. Don't advise them. Provide specific direction. If they don't take it, it's either you replace them or they face penalty. That's what it means. Oh, yet skill, low skill and low will. Low skill and high will. What does that mean? The person does not have the capacity to do what you want him to do, but he has the passion. You can see it in him. He wants to be part of it. He wants to do this. What do? Provide training and guidance, not just training. Provide training and guidance. Training and guidance. The third category of people, high skill, low will. This one, the skill is high, but there's a problem. The will, the passion is low. Maybe he doesn't like the school, or maybe what you do, motivate them, excite them by providing incentives. Provide incentives. Very important. And then the last one is the ones that have high skill and high will. What do? You delegate. Give them autonomy and authority. Once you see that somebody has skill and his will, his passion is in the job, provide autonomy. Yes. And give them authority. Oh, yes, I tell you. Leadership development. When do we start leadership development in the school? Once you identify somebody that the skill is there and the will is there, you are already made for that. I want to thank everybody for being on this platform. I want to say that if I come up with another topic, or if I come, there's this slide I'm telling you is like 21 slides. I'll tell you. So if I create this, if I do this again, I believe that you are going to join me and you're going to be part of this. Awesome. Expect a lot from me in November. November is loaded with so many strategic planning, strategic work. I believe we can have a lot of things together. And if you want me to come to your school, to come and do this, to come and run this training like this for your leaders, you know, I'm always here. If you want it to be on Zoom, it's okay. If you want it to be on a physical class, very good. Send me a message and let's talk business. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate everybody. This audio recording will be available on the platform immediately after. See you. Thank you.